Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Francesca. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I've wanted to talk about for a while. I'm going to be talking about compassion, making compassion a lifestyle, making kindness a lifestyle, practicing kindness, modeling it, teaching it to our children, making it an everyday part of our lives, making it an everyday part of our lives. And I know that in this part of the world where we live in, it's kind of like you get to be nice or be kind or gift people things at specific seasons. So we're getting to that um, time of the year again, approaching Christmas, where gift giving is kind of like a norm. Everybody is shopping, everybody has a list, everybody has something that they want to gift to somebody. You have all the shopping list. Your kids have a list for Santa that they want Santa to gift them, every sort of thing. And kind of looks like that's the only time people get to gift people things. But today I just wanted to talk about us living this as a lifestyle. So teaching this to our children, making them understand that you practice kindness not just as a one-off, you do it every day, all day, regularly. So it doesn't matter how much you have. What matters is the heart that wants to give, the heart that wants to show kindness, the heart that wants to show people that out of the little that I have, I still have some to gift out. Okay. So we don't just want to practice kindness on special occasions. We don't just want to practice kindness on Christmas, Easter, birthdays, or anything like that. We want to make it a habit. We want to make it something that we want to do all day, every day. I remember my niece. My sister was teaching her how to be kind, just showing kindness, being nice to people and all that. And then she went to school with her lunch, and turns out she didn't eat her lunch. She didn't eat her lunch, and she came back, and the mom was like, "Okay, did you eat your food?" She said, "No." "So where is it?" "Oh, mommy, but it's you that said that should be nice. So I gave it to someone." So basically, she didn't eat. She gifted the food to someone else. And she was like, "Oh, but you said we should practice how to be nice. This is my little way of being kind. This is my little way of showing, kindness to somebody." And while that is fantastic, that is fantastic. I'm not I'm not saying we should teach our children to rob themselves, in order to show kindness or be kind to someone else. We just want to teach them this habit, practicing the habit of being nice, being kind to people. Someone once said that if compassion, is a seed that you water, you just don't want to do it as a one-off. Okay, you don't just want to plant a seed, water it once, and then go expecting it to grow, expecting it to grow into a forest. Just having trees spring up by just your one act of watering. For that seed to germinate, for it to grow and become a full blown tree or a forest, as it were, you must commit to the act of daily watering. You want to consistently water the seed. You want to make sure that at every point in time, you're putting something into it. You're making effort to make sure that this seed is growing. It's the same thing with kindness. It's the same thing with compassion, teaching this to our children. We want to make sure that it is not a one-off thing. It's not something that you just wake up one morning and you say, "Oh, be nice," and then that's it. You want to make sure that there is a consistency in practice. You want to make sure that when you tell your child to be kind today, it's not just one off. It's not just something that they will do at once and then just completely forget about it. You want to make it, a practice that goes and follows them every day. Recently I started a practice with my kids. I started to teach them how to kind of like sort out some of the clothes that they are no longer wearing. either because they've outgrown them, they are small, you know. And I'm like, oh, do you want to give somebody this? Do you want to gift somebody this? Or what do you want us to do with this, your clothes, you know? And then my son says, oh, I want to give this to Jason. Jason, of course, is my um, little son, kind of my last baby. So the older was saying, oh, I want to give this to Jason, and I'm like, Jason is still too little. Before Jason grows to the point of putting on your clothes, who knows? They might even be out of fashion. There might be some other kids, closer to your age that do not have, that will require this or that would need this. You know, let's try sort this out. We can take it to charity. We can take it to, places where they would need them, where they could put them to good use. That's something that I'm trying to um inculcate into them, just making sure that they have this at the back of their mind that okay, we can actually give people out of what we have. Okay, it is not so one of the things that I'm trying to get with this is we're not just teaching our children only to gift things when they have too much, when they have a lot. That's not the only time they give. They have to learn to give even when it appears that they have a little. The reason why this is important is because it forces them to think about what they have and why they can gift somebody out of that which they have. Another thing to know with this generosity, acts of kindness, is that I've said it before, consistency is key. Once they learn this, once they grow with this, it becomes a part of them. So it's difficult to separate someone from what they've been used to. If you've been used to giving, if you've been used to consistently helping, it comes naturally. You don't even think about it. There are people that to gift people things, it's kind of like strange to them because it's not something that they're used to. So when they get to that point of, oh, I need to give somebody this thing, they're like, it's like, should why? I don't even have enough. And then this spirit of hoarding. I think recently I was talking to a friend, like we have it, I have it. I'm not using it, but I'm afraid to let it go because in my brain, I'm thinking that at some point I may need it. So we begin to hoard stuff. You begin to have a lot of things that you probably will never use or you are so afraid to let go. But once we inculcate this habit into our children, it becomes a part of them that they're not even scared to give out anything. I I have it, someone else needs it, by all means take it. um of course, we've talked about the power of everyday modeling this act of kindness. One thing we need to know as parents is that our children learn from what they see us do. They learn from what they see us do. So it is not in your saying it. It is not in your many talks. Be kind, be nice, be this. They need to see mommy be nice. They need to see mommy be kind. They need to see you model the act that you're trying to teach them. One of the things that I see children do is when, take for instance, you have a help in your home and you're constantly berating the help, you're constantly talking down, you're constantly, you know, looking at them as less of a human. Chances are your child will grow up with that same energy. Your child will grow up thinking that that is actually how to treat people. So kids learn mostly by seeing, this is what mom is doing, this is what daddy is doing, this is what I will do as well. So it's important that we teach them that. Another thing that we need to know is one of the things that I was telling somebody, I think it was in church, and they were talking about I cannot take this, you don't know who I am and all that. And it got me thinking really. One of the profound ways to be kind to people, it's not because they were kind to you. Okay, you're showing kindness not because somebody was kind to you. You're not repaying their energy. You're being kind because that's what you've learned. You're being kind because that is who you are. I always remember and think about scripture when Bible talks about the fact that Christ first died. He loved us even while we were yet sinners. He died, and I know that even if I was the only person alive, Jesus would still have died for me. Why? Because his nature is love. He loves me enough to be willing to die. It's the same way. Once we begin to practice this act of kindness, once we begin to teach it to our children, we model it to our children, it becomes a part of them. It becomes their nature. They cannot differentiate, like you cannot separate that from who they are. They've learned over time that this is how we live, this is how I do things. I cannot be different. So it becomes their person, really. So they can't act differently because that's who they are. That's who they are. And gone are the days when we say aura for aura. Well, we still say it, aura for aura. But that's not what we should do. That's not who we should be like. We're not to be saying that, oh, because this person wasn't kind to me, therefore I won't be kind to them. That's not the Christian way of doing things. So I am kind because it is my nature. I am doing this because this is who I am, not necessarily because the person I'm being kind to has shown me kindness. One of the practical ways to do this: check on a sick friend, call somebody that hasn't called you. And I know, yes, I know. Sometimes you feel like you're overstretching. Sometimes you feel like, oh, am I not doing too much? This person doesn't care. This person is not reaching out. But over time, I've discovered that, sometimes when people don't reach out, it's not a function of the fact that they don't care. Sometimes they are going through stuff that you're not aware of. Sometimes they are going through a season in their lives that requires them to be quiet. So when you reach out, it is your own small way of saying, I care about you. I just want to check on you. I just want to make sure that you're fine. Okay? It's okay. It's okay to do that. Do that frequently. Check in, send a text. Somebody doesn't tell you that they're sick and you know that they're sick, like they're obviously sick, or you heard that they're sick. Be the first person. Reach out. Hey, how are you? Are you okay? I learned you're sick. I just want to check in. I just want to make sure you're fine. It doesn't make you less of a person. Your kids are watching. Your children are seeing you do this. They're picking up stuff, you know. And that's the interesting thing about children. They pick up as they go. So they see you doing this, they're taking it. They see you acting this way, they're taking it. So you want to make sure that they're taking in the good stuff. Share your time. I think one of the things that we've always learned is that generosity comes with money. So when you don't have money, you don't think you can be generous. You actually can be generous. Time, they say, is money. You cannot buy it. So if you commit your time to people, if you spend time with people, your resources, it doesn't have to be financial. It might be your knowledge, it might be your help. One of my friends that just floated a business for providing help to new moms and all that was saying something to me recently that one of the profound ways to help new moms is showing help, like offering that help. Come, be with the baby, let that mom catch a nap. Be with the baby, let that mom take some time to unwind, think about the process, and just let it out, the steam. Be the ear that somebody needs to, talk to. Be that ear that is listening. So it doesn't actually have to be money for you to be generous. You don't have to have money to be kind. You know, sometimes I think which day I was driving and it's not, it's here is pretty cool. I think it's back home that we see that kind of driving. People will just drive to a lane and then they will cut you off in front and all that. And in my mind, I'm like, what? Who do you think you are? You think you are a better driver than me? Da, 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 da. And I was steaming in my mind in my car. And somehow I'm just like, just let it go. It's just a lane. Come on. And I'm like, okay. And eventually, I just let the guy come in, stayed in front of my car, and we were good. At the end of the day, I wasn't late for whatever it was I was going for anyway. So those little acts of kindness, you don't have to honk at them. You don't have to be mad. Just show anger because you're like, what are you doing? You know. Um, practical steps to learning this, practical ways to actually putting this acts of kindness into be in your home. Wake up in the morning, teach your children to be grateful. Let the first thing that come out of their mouths after they do something, or you offer them help, is to say thank you, mommy, thank you, daddy. I'm teaching my kids to do that. And then my son, who I was telling a friend today, that my son came back and said, mommy, but you don't say please when you want me to do something. And I'm like, okay, that's because I'm your mommy. But really, we're supposed to practice, we're supposed to show them what we also want them to practice. So I started to tell him, okay, please, can you help me get this? And then when he brings it, I'm like, thank you. Please, can you do this? And I thank you. Celebrate their wins, celebrate the efforts that they are putting in. You're not just to look at, the picture. Are they doing it well? Are they, celebrate the little wins. When they hold the door for you to come in, tell them thank you. When they get you a bottle of water, say thank you. When they get something for their older or younger ones, say thank you. Those are the little things that you want to teach them. Teach them also the magic words. I know they teach children this in school, please and thank you. You want to make sure that they are inculcating this into their everyday dealings. You want to make sure that every time somebody offers them help, they say thank you. Every time they are extending or asking for things or favors, they are asking and saying, please. I'm telling my kids, ask nicely. Nobody owes you a thing. Ask nicely. And that's why it's important that we teach our children some of these things. Nobody owes anybody anything. Whatever is done to you is because the person wants to. So we need to be able to raise a generation of children that is grateful, very grateful for everything that they get offered or everything that comes to them. Also involve your children in charity decision, giving decisions. You want to give something, let them decide. Who should we give this to? What should we give to this person? Should we be giving people things for Christmas? Who should we do? What should we do? And of course, we're not limiting this to any of the major celebrations, holidays, gift giving period, Christmas, New Year, Easter, birthdays, Thanksgiving. No, you want to spread it, make it a lifestyle for them so that it's something that they do every day. One scripture that I'm going to leave us with is Matthew 15 from verse 34. And we know that Jesus fed 5,000 people with, I think it was uh, 5 loaves of bread and about 7 fishes. And then he fed 4,000. He also fed 4,000 with 7 loaves and a few fishes. So it took the little boy in the 5,000 episode to release what he had, and then Jesus blessed it and multiplied it. So it's not in the much that you have, that can produce outstanding results. It is in the little that you can actually release that you will see outstanding results. So you must learn and teach our children the habit of not hoarding, not making themselves those people that cannot give to others out of the abundance that they have, or even the little that they have. Jesus's example is worth emulating. Bible says he fed multitudes, 5,000, 4,000, with the little that was made available to him. Teach your children to practice this. Let them learn that these acts of kindness are to be a lifestyle. It's not just something that you should do once, drop it and move on. It should be something continuing. It should be something continuing. Okay, till I see you again, it is still your girl, Francesca, on Conversations with Francesca. If you haven't subscribed, this is your cue to do so. If you haven't followed us on any of our social media platforms, this is your cue to do so. Till I come your way next time, stay blessed and remain faithful. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. Take care. Bye.